Hey everybody, it's Mike the Reptile Guy here. We're standing inside of my Reptile Rescue and Education Center in Abbotsford, BC. Currently we're in a 1,300 square foot building. We've got a couple hundred animals in here. Since we opened last November, we've gotten 240 animals in as rescues and surrenders. So we're in a bit of a situation now where we've got almost too many animals for our building. We're also trying to raise some money because we have some other animals we have at another facility that we're not allowed to have on display here right now. So before we take you back here and show you our facility that we have going on here, we're going to take you to our facility off-site and show you some of the bigger animals we have that we'd like to get back. So this is one of our larger animals here. This is Pandora. She is an American alligator. She's about 7.5 to 8 feet long. Very large animal, obviously. Back in 2011, we had her at our facility, but in 2011, when the new laws came into place, we were no longer allowed to keep her or display her. A lot of our animals we had on display in our facility became illegal in British Columbia. With that happening, we were no longer allowed to fund our rescue because the way we funded our rescue was having people come in and look at animals like Pandora and our big snakes and other lizards like that. So she had to go to an off-site facility. She's on a 4-year contract. Unfortunately, that 4-year contract ends in May. So when May comes, if we don't have a big enough facility to take her back, we're going to lose her forever, and we're not 100% where she's going to go right now. So we don't want it to come to that option. We'd like to just get a bigger facility so we can take Pandora back and secure her future. That's really what it's all about right now, just securing the animal's futures. She's an awesome animal. We love her. Obviously, she's an alligator. She's not the friendliest thing in the world. But you can see she's letting me pet her in that, so that's all good. Let's see if she wants to walk in the water. I'll see if I can get her to go in the water. You gonna walk? She's either going to walk or lash at me. Oh, she's going to try to bite me instead. Beautiful animal though. We love her. So this here is Helga. She's an albino Burmese python. That's Callie. She's a normal Burmese python. These are some of the animals we were no longer allowed to display back at our facility when we had to shut down. So they came to an off-site facility where they are also on a 4-year contract that ends in May. At the end of that contract, if we can't take them back into our facility, we're not sure what exactly is going to be happening with them. So we'd really like to get a larger facility so we can, again, secure their future and get them back into our care where they can live happy lives and help educate thousands of people every year. Yeah, they're awesome animals. I mean, they're big, they're scary looking, but they're really gentle animals. We don't have to worry about them hurting anybody. And again, it's a safe environment because everything's behind glass anyways. So now that we've seen some of the bigger animals we'd love to get back into our facility and back into our care, we're going to show you some of the animals we actually have in our facility right now. So again, it's not the biggest building in the world, but we've kind of managed to squeeze and fit things in here. One of the biggest, surrenders and rescues we get turned in all the time are the turtles. We got turtles down here. We got turtles over here. Again, we've got our turtle pond there we're going to talk about in a few minutes. And we look around, it's just reptiles everywhere. In this enclosure here is our walk-through tortoise pen. This is our tortoise pen here. We got our sulcata tortoises. It's all right size for right now, but these are both male tortoises, so we'd like to have them separated into bigger enclosures. And we also had a few phone calls this summer about other tortoises that may potentially be coming in. This one here is one of our more memorable tortoises. His name is Dozer. The reason he's one of our more memorable tortoises is because he's got holes in his shell, because the people who had him before us, if you look at the picture there, they drilled holes in his shell and installed a handle onto him. Now obviously that's not a good idea because you're drilling holes through living tissue, but that's just what people do. We don't really know why. But again, it'd be nice to have a bigger space for them because they're only getting bigger. Turbo here is about 75 pounds. When he's full grown, he'll be about 150 pounds. So still a lot more growing to do. We also have to double them up. We've got our Savannah monitor in here. We do have a couple more Savannah monitors upstairs we'd like to bring down once they're, good and healthy to come down. Yeah, so it just, again, stresses the need for a bigger facility where we can build a bigger, more adequate space for our animals. So now we're standing inside one of the favorite places in our facility, I guess you could say. Whenever we do tours, people love coming into this room. This is our nocturnal room. So the nocturnal room is for the animals that sleep during the day and are awake at nighttime. Now when you go to a lot of zoos or aquariums and you look at the frogs and geckos, a lot of times they're hiding up in a corner behind a leaf where you can't really see them. Well, in our nocturnal room, we make it dark in here, so they think it's nighttime and they'll be more awake because they're out hunting during the night anyways. So it's dark in here, animals are more active, and it gives the people a really good chance to actually see what the animals do, in the natural daytime for them. So we do have scorpions now, and we have tarantulas, geckos, frogs. We also have things stacked up behind us. We've got things stacked all around here. Again, the nocturnal room is too small. We need a bigger space. We'd also like to upgrade a few of the enclosures in here so we can get, you know, them more happy and the animals more comfortable in that. So here we are in front of our turtle pond. It's about a 1,300 gallon pond, nowhere near big enough for the animals we have in here. There are currently 70 turtles in this pond right now. My number is 75. When we get to 75, we either have to stop taking turtles in, which means people will release them into the wild again, which is a huge problem for the environment, or if we continue to take them in, we're gonna have to start euthanizing some of the older, you know, not as healthy ones, which is something we don't want to do. We don't want to be that rescue that puts animals down for no reason, right, other than just a space issue. So if we can get a bigger pond, obviously we'll be able to house more turtles and not have to worry about that situation. The majority of turtles in here are these guys here, the red-eared sliders. All the ones that have the red on the side of their head, they're the #1 animal we get turned into our rescue. We literally get them in almost every week. And the reason people get these and turn them into us is because people buy them when they're tiny little turtles. They don't realize how big they get. Usually they buy them for the kids, and then the kids lose interest once they start getting bigger, and they start having to clean them all the time. They're a very dirty animal. They live over 50 years. You know, so we wish we could put a stop to people selling these. We've tried, unfortunately it's not happening, so they're gonna continue to come in, which is why we desperately need a bigger pond. Also, we had a situation a couple weeks where the bottom of the pond started to break on us, so that was kind of a situation we had to fix right away. Also, you can see behind me, we're full of enclosures here. There's a lot of animals here. We're running out of room. We can only build so high before we can't get into enclosures anymore. We've had to start doubling up our snakes, doubling up our iguanas and tortoises and that, simply because there's nowhere to put them. We're a 1,300 square foot building. It's not that big in here, but the animals keep coming in. So we really need a bigger space. So now I think we're going to take you upstairs and we'll show you guys the quarantine room and the sick room, which is also our rat breeding area, storage, and my office. So we'll go and take a look at that. So this is the upstairs of our facility. Again, not a very big space up here. This is our quarantine room. So what we do whenever we get animals in, they go into quarantine for 30 days, minimum 30 days, just to make sure they're all eating, they're healthy, there's no other medical issues. Once they've been through the quarantine period, we either put them up for adoption and try to find them suitable homes, or we'll put them down into our display area where we can teach people about the animals and use them for, you know, education. This room is very full. We've had to double up a lot of the enclosures. We've got endless bearded dragons. We get bearded dragons in on a very regular basis, like this one here. The majority of the time, it's just people just get bored of them and don't want them anymore. Again, they'll buy them for their children. They're cute little animals. The kids get bored of them, and the parents don't want to look after them, and you know, they come in here. Luckily, these animals are not one that can be let go in the wild out here, so we don't have problems with the environment with these guys, because these are in Australia more of a desert lizard, so they wouldn't survive here. But there's still a bit of a problem. We have the 2 males here. We've got 4 more bearded dragons over there, all the females together. We also get a lot of snakes in. Each one of these enclosures has at least 1 snake in it. All of these are king snakes. King snakes cannot be housed together because they are cannibalistic. So obviously they have to be housed separately because we do not want them eating each other. Down here we have a boa. We've got 6 more boas over there between 4 enclosures because again we're out of room. Right here we have another ball python. And we've got about 6 or 7 ball pythons up here right now. They're another one of the more popular snakes that comes into our rescue. And again, it's the novelty wears off or they get too big. This one here came into us because it was a little bit sick. It had a little bit of scale rot, a little bit of a respiratory infection. I thought it was going to bite me there, but it didn't. Yeah, so it just, the biggest thing is people have to do their research. Don't get an animal if you can't look after it for its entire life. Do your research so you know how to look after your animal, how to feed it properly, how to house it properly. Most of the situations we see with the animals that are sick are just people-caused problems, right? It's just that people don't know how to look after them properly and the animal ends up getting sick. One of the worst ones we had come in here, you get back in there, was this guy here. This is a green iguana. He came in June of this year. Come here, buddy. We have named him Shredder because when we got him in, the entire front of his face was actually rubbed off. You couldn't see his nostrils. It was all bloody and swollen and gross because the people had him in a pretty small enclosure. and he wanted to get out, and he kept rubbing and rubbing on the enclosure until he had no face left. You can see exposed bone in his face. He's got the big, the abscesses on the sides there. He was also very, very skinny. Up top here, these are what we call brain bulges. Now, when he came in, he didn't have that. That was all sucked in, just big indents, and that means he was very dehydrated. So obviously, he's now a lot healthier. You can't see all the bones down his body. He's getting a nice thick base of the tail, and he's actually active. When we got him in, he was not like this at all. He was also turned into us because he was too aggressive for his owner. Not aggressive. You go back in there. In there. Yeah, so as you can see, we've got a lot of animals. Again, ball pythons, there's some spotted pythons, monitors, there's more iguanas down there. We've gotten 2 more phone calls about iguanas this week alone. So that'll bring us up to 6 iguanas. We don't have room for very many more iguanas, right? I mean, iguanas have to be housed separately when they're males. We don't have the space to build more enclosures up here, so we need a bigger space. The quarantine room should be just quarantine animals, new animals that are in. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury here. We have to, kind of use this room as our storage. It's our rat breeding facility up here. It's also our overstock for animals that we don't have room for downstairs and we can't adopt out. So again, we need a bigger space. This is just not going to do for much longer at all. Again, we got 240 animals in the first year. We're not looking to close down anytime soon, so the animals are going to keep coming in. We need a bigger space. So now that you've seen my facility, guys, you know what we're all about. You know the kinds of animals we're dealing with, you know the challenges we're dealing with, and you know what we need. If there's anybody out there that can donate, if you guys can't donate and you want to help share or like our video so other people can see it, just so everybody who knows anything about reptiles or knows anything about reptiles or cares about reptiles at all can help us get, a bigger building so we can help save animals, for years to come. Animals like Muffin here, she needs a bigger enclosure in the future because she'll get about 150 pounds. And I guess we'll go out with a bang here and we'll let her bite a bottle. There we go. So thanks for watching, guys. If there's anybody out there that can help, any amount, doesn't matter. No donation is too small. Everything helps, and hopefully we can get a big building and continue to do this for the rest of our lives, hopefully. Thanks a lot, guys.